Hi guys, this is Rashid and welcome back. Today's topic is one of the favorite projects that most robot developers want to do once in their life, and that is Hexapod. If you come to my channel homepage, you will see my Hexapod video showing that robot was made 2 years ago and is the first Hexapod that I have made. Later, I had designed another one with carbon fiber and aluminum parts, but didn't have a chance to show to the world because it was for some research project. There are many videos on YouTube showing Hexapod or spider robot, and those guys are really good. But today I will show more insight of the mathematics behind it and how I made it. If you're ready, let's get started. Here is the Hexapod that I designed, so I would prefer to call it as SpiderBot from now. The design is to keep it simple and could be made by CNC machining and carbon fiber plate. All of my servos are Robotis Dynamixel XM430 W350R. The reason I chose this servo because the performance and many control modes. The body is just 2 carbon fiber plates, bottom and top, and the plates are connected together by these simple aluminum pieces and small carbon plate. For the legs, firstly, I made a rough sketch in SolidWorks with Dynamixel servo dimensions. Then I tried to move the leg in planar to see how much of the leg length I need for femur and tibia legs. For coxa leg, I used an existing bracket from Dynamixel attached directly to the second servo body. Then the servo horn is sandwiched with 2 curvy carbon plates as femur leg, and on another end of the plate is connected to the third servo horn. The last tibia leg here is connected with servo body with aluminum adapter, and tip of the leg is a flexible 3D printed part to absorb some reaction forces from ground. So inside the body, there is just a nano with this red board called JMOAB. This board was custom designed to use for our ATCart. If you would like to know more about ATCart, please check on this video or you can check on video description. Let me switch back to SolidWorks. Under just a nano, there is a small Wi-Fi router so I can remotely access to it and programming wirelessly. There is Futaba radio receiver here connected to JMOAB S-Bus port so we can read transmitter channel and use it as input to control the robot. There is IMU BNO055 Adafruit breakout board connect to JMOAB I2C port which direct to JSON I2C so we can have a feedback of robot orientation. This aluminum heatsink here is DC-DC regulator to convert 12 volt from 3 cells battery to stable 5 volt for JSON and Wi-Fi router. On front of the robot, I decided to use Intel RealSense L515 because of this round shaped look. It looks like the robot's single eye. On top of the body, we're going to put 3-cell repo battery and strap it with a Velcro tape. Let me state here first that this mathematics that I'm going to show you comes from my derivation and my own understanding from robotics manipulator class when I was in university. So there are many ways to derive the equation of this robot and many ways of thinking. The equation starts from the first leg, which I chose the one on the right side of its body. And the front direction here is the direction to go forward. The leg is same as 3 degree of freedom robot arm. It could move the tip in X, Y, and Z axis, and there is no orientation control on the tip for this design. In kinematic point of view, when the leg is stretching out like this, meaning of the joint is 0 degree angle. Next, we need to define the coordinate frame of each degree of freedom as following. Frame 0, which is static frame, is placed on servo 1 with Z-axis point up and X-axis aligned with the leg. Frame 1 will be placed on this second servo with the Z-axis aligned with the servo axis and X-axis aligned with the leg. Frame 2 will be placed on the third servo with the same manner, and frame 3 will be placed on the tip of the leg. So if each joint start to make some angle, then the coordinate frame will be showing as in the picture. Next step, we need to find forward kinematics, which is we input angle to each joint, then the equation will give us back the x, y, z of tip position, that is forward kinematics. And inverse kinematics is opposite of that. We give endpoint position to equations and we could get output angle of each joint. To find forward kinematics, we need to use a method called DH parameters. So I took this picture and definition of variables from this book. Each robot manipulator will have its own DH parameters. And here is DH parameters of the hexapod leg. You see this A matrix superscription of I-1 and subscription of I. I-1 here means the reference frame or base frame. So this represents a transformation from frame I-1 to frame I. 3x3 matrix in size is the rotation part, telling how much rotation from frame I-1 to frame I. And the fourth column here is the translation part, telling how much translation from frame I-1 to frame I. And this is called transformation matrix. From a single leg kinematics diagram, we can find the DH parameters of a d alpha and theta as shown in this table. After that, we need to use these DH parameters on the table and fill in the transformation matrix equation. We get T01, T12, T23 transformation matrix as result. Then if we multiply T01 with T12, we will get T02. And if we multiply T02 with T23, we will get T03, which means the transformation of leg's tip position based on the static frame 0. If we give theta 1, 2, 3 to this equation, we could know the position of leg's tip, and this is the forward kinematics equations. For inverse kinematics, we're going to use a geometrical method when theta 1, 2, and 3 are making some angle, and we define some other variables like R1, R2, phi1, phi2, and phi3 as shown in this picture. Theta 1 could be found by arctan of yp divided by xp. We know both, then theta 1 is known easily. R2 distance is calculated by xp divided by cos theta 1 minus L1. R1, which is hypotenuse of right angle here, could be calculated by square root of zp square plus R2 square. Theta 2 is calculated from phi 1 and phi 2 angle. Phi 2 is the opposite angle, then we can calculate it by arctan of zp divided by R2. Phi 1 is the angle inside this triangle of R1, L2, and L3, so we can use cosine law formula and rearrange it. Phi 1 is arc cos of L3 square minus L2 square minus R1 square and divided by minus 2 times L2 times R1. Then theta 2 is phi 1 plus phi 2. You could notice it's supposed to be minus sign, but phi 2 value depends on zp and it's always negative, or even legs go up, the theta 2 equal phi 1 plus phi 2 still correct. Phi 3 is calculated by cosine law formula, so it's equal to arc cos of R1 square minus L2 square minus L3 square divided by minus 2 times L2 times L3. Phi 3 plus theta 3 should be equal to 180 degrees or pi. Rearrange the equation, then theta 3 is minus of pi minus phi 3. And finally, these three equations are inverse kinematics equation of single leg. Then we can make the leg to move in any position that not hit itself. For example, if we define home position of the leg as x equal to 170, y equal to 0, and z equal to minus 100, then we can use inverse kinematics to solve for theta 1, 2, and 3, and the value is as showing. As you can see that developing a robot requires a basic knowledge of mathematics, solving equations, and thinking in logic. And that's why you will like this video sponsor, Brilliant. Brilliant is a learning platform which helps you become a better thinker and problem solver. The courses visualize you a better way to look at the problem differently with thousands of visual, interactive lessons in math, science, programming, data analysis, and AI. Some mathematics problem is hard to understand when learning material is just a textbook or lecture note, but the lesson on Brilliant turns something boring into a creative puzzle and give you a hands-on quiz to check your understanding. If you want to start learning Python programming, Brilliant is a good way to start with. It could make you get used to with the syntax and to developing an intuition for computer logic and also learn to think like a programmer. The Brilliant app makes it easy to learn anywhere, whether you're diving into a new topic or doing a quick practice session. You can do it even during the way back home or some short break. Just spend 10 to 30 minutes a day, and learning a little every day is one of the most important things you can do. To learn for free on Brilliant, you can use my link or scan the QR code on screen. Brilliant's also giving our viewers 20% off an annual premium subscription, which gives you unlimited daily access to everything. And keep enjoying learning with Brilliant. Next, we're going to talk about how to make it walk. The most simple gait for Hexapod is tripod gait, meaning 3 legs are lifting in the air while 3 legs stay touching on the ground. There are 2 phases of moving the leg tip, stand phase and swing phase. The swing phase curve can be found by the Basic curve equation, so we need to define 3 points as P1, P2 and P3. The value of each point can be defined as S, A and T distances. Then x from Basic curve is y in our case, and y in Basic curve is z in our case. The y of stand phase is line space of t distance and z of stand phase is all s distance. If we concatenate 2 sets of curve and line points together, it will be a full set of step motion. And what about x? We can think in a way that these points appear at the origin, so x could be the same length of y and z with all 0. Now we know how the leg should move to make it go forward. Then how are we going to use this point to apply to each leg? Let's think like this. Leg 1 or the one on the right side, I will call it as leg I, and if we count it counterclockwise, it will be leg J, K, L, M and N. So we know X, Y, Z points from the previous page, and we could place those points in origin of frame O, which is a static frame. The key important is this beta angle. We can transform X, Y, Z points in frame O into each of leg coordinate frames. So the formula to do so is this XYZ matrix of 3 by 1 in leg frame equal rotation matrix 3 by 3 multiplied with XYZ matrix in O frame plus 3 by 1 matrix with X start value. The X start could be defined similar to X home position. The rotation matrix of each leg is different, so leg I there is no rotation matrix, then this will be just identity matrix, and other leg rotation matrices are shown here. So the sequence of movement and starting point of each leg are defined as this picture. Leg I, K and M will move together and leg J, L and N will move together. Leg I, K, M will start from half line here and the leg J, L, N will start from the half curve here. Then it will continue looping like this. This table represents at each period of time t, t plus 1, t plus 2, which section points the leg is moving. Here is sample video of the legs moving. You could see that if our math is correct, you could see the tip of the leg in stand phase moving as straight line. Then how can we move not only forward but with some diagonal, lateral or some specific angle, for example like this gamma angle. So we just need to modify the rotation matrix as following. The rotation angle of leg I will be gamma. For leg J will be minus beta plus gamma. For leg K will be beta plus gamma and so on. If we make gamma for all of 360 degrees, this will be called as crab walking, meaning the robot keeps orientation heading as fixed, but the legs make it possible to move any direction in horizontal. So far we know how to make the robot walk by tripod gait. To make it turning in place, it's just the same concept with tripod gait, so 3 legs are in the air and another 3 legs on the ground are turning the body. Similarly, leg I, K and M will have the same motion, leg J, L and N will have the same motion. So during leg I is lifted up and hold, leg J has to drag or rotate the body, then leg I just lift it down and hold, wait for leg J to lift it up and leg I just drag or rotate the body. Then we continue this as looping over and over. Next we're going to talk about the software part. I have made JMOAB ROS 2 package which originally to use with just Nano with ATCart, so we can get an advantage of that interface to get data from radio transmitter to control the robot wirelessly. And here is the SpiderBot package for ROS 2 that I made. You can check it out later. So we're going to run ATCart basic node from JMOAB ROS 2 package. Then on application program, we're going to run SpiderBot control from SpiderBot package. Here I put some cardboard box under the robot so the legs will not touch the ground for this moment. On Justin Nano first terminal here, we started with ROS2 launch, JMOAB ROS2, ATCart basic.launch.py, and on second terminal, we run ROS2 launch spiderbot control.launch.py. After initializing, all the legs will spread out and stay on home position. Then on radio transmitter, I can make it walk forward by pushing on the left stick. The more I push on the stick, the faster it walks. And we can make it turning by pushing on the right stick. Next, it's time to take it for a walk. And that is the first part of the SpiderBot video. I hope you guys like it. I don't want to make the video too long, so I will come back again for the next topic like body orientation and translation control, and another walking gait pattern like wave gait. If you have learned or found something useful from this video, please don't forget to press like and share buttons. That will be a big help of growing my channel. Or if you want to support and want to see this kind of contents more, there is a super thanks button for coffee energy for me to keep doing this. Or you can click on join button to be a membership of this channel. So stay tuned for the second part. Thank you for watching and see you soon.